Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Hoops and Cards. I am Gary, your host. It is great to be with you as always. Even though we're a couple days late this week, we usually like to get episodes out Monday night, Tuesday morning. Today it's Wednesday. And you card collectors and investors, I am just so glad you are with us. Hopefully you enjoyed the last two episodes we had with Tyson Beck from Basketball Forever and the Forever Network, but also an incredible card designer, card collector, lover of NBA basketball. If you haven't listened to those two episodes, I would encourage you to hit pause right now on this YouTube channel or this podcast, whatever it is you're doing, to listen to the smooth baritone voice. I am Gary. I'm a collector, basketball cards, an investor, somewhat because I wanted a hobby that didn't actually lose money, but somehow made money for me or for my family. And it was a fun, profitable thing to get into. I'm not sure what got you into it today, but last week I was out of town and at some retreat, basically some training for work, and just a great opportunity to remember why we do what we do. And today I want to talk a bit about, I want to talk about all the things. Let me just say from the very beginning, the get-go, I'm sitting here with one piece of paper. I don't know if you can see all this. There, it's on. You can barely see it on the YouTube. It just covered everything up. One of the things I do, friends, and I have done since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, since Moby Dick was a sardine, I have been, quoting Tom Burns, no, I have been doing this thing where if Nathan Miller were to be here and say, Gary, why do you do what you do? Why do you make these lists of top players to invest in or top cards to buy this season or breakout players? Well, I've always made lists. That's been my thing. I think as a kid, I would always watch, the playoff standings and the AP polls for college football, the lists of hot prospects coming out in baseball. I collected baseball cards as a kid back in the 80s. Yeah, that's right. Some of you weren't even born in the 80s or the 90s, but you're listening and you're collecting and you are investing. One of the things that's crazy now is that the world has just expanded the ways to connect, the ways to get involved. And it's funny. We have had listeners, we're almost 2 years old as a podcast. We've had listeners from 77 countries around the world. And one of the things I like to do, you guys, is tell my story, things I'm learning, mistakes I'm making, opportunities that I see in the sports card market, especially basketball cards. I mean, let's get real. Basketball is why a lot of us are here. Maybe that's how you found our podcast. You're a 76ers fan, or you're a Golden State fan. In fact, one of my cousins, we were talking this week, and he is a Steph Curry fan. And I'm like, hey, I got to respect that. Yeah, the best thing about the NBA is there are great players to watch. They're doing incredible things every night. I don't know if you've seen this scoring outburst, really, how the points and players averaging 25 points. If you listen to Brian Windhorst or any of these other analysts, it is the highest scoring season on record for players that are scoring over 25 points a game or players that are scoring over 30 points a game. We'll see if they can keep it up. Right, we'll see if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Joel Embiid and Giannis and Steph Curry and LeBron James and Luka Doncic and who else do I have to name? Jason Tatum, like so many dudes, Damian Lillard, they're doing it. And, I ask the question, when they do it, like when Jason Tatum goes off for 50, drops a 50 spot on Martin Luther King Day, like, are his cards increasing in value? Are they selling more quickly on eBay? Are there more people going into their Discord and their Facebook groups and their whatnot, all the things, to buy Jason Tatum cards more than they did yesterday? And the answer is sometimes. The answer is pay attention. The answer is don't react on just an impulse of one game or one triple double by Nikola Jokic, who, by the way, looks like the third consecutive MVP award. Might as well just write his name on it right now. They're in Denver. You guys, man, you got a center, a point guard, a small forward, you got 5 players rolled up in one, and the other guys just basically revolve around the sun and shoot threes. So Aaron Gordon's having himself a season. But let me get to the lists for today. I want to cover several lists. 5 guys. In fact, my piece of paper that I just showed you, I've got like, I literally, as I was traveling this week, I got to throw on the reading glasses. That's what these are, kids. Reading glasses. I gotta see these in larger print. 5 guys. I've got lists of players who I think can't miss as far as a long-term investment, as cards, collectibles, autographs, the highest upside, 5 of the highest upside players, 5 players dropping 50s, having 50-point games, 5 first-time all-stars, guys I think should be in the game. 5 we got next. They're stepping up, ramping it to the next level. 5 respect the superstar, young guns, Eastern prospects, Western prospects, way better than you realize, dudes. Backups. 5 guys rekindled that flame, that potential, that all-star performance thing coming back. My favorite 5. It's so funny. I wrote my favorite 5, and then I wrote like 9 names down. Do you ever do that? You're like, oh yeah, that guy's an all-star, and then you name 36 people that should be all-stars, and you're like, wait a minute, what's the all-star game? Right here we are in 5 weeks, guys. We're gonna have the all-star NBA all-star game, the dunk contest, 3-point contest. I can't wait, man. Some of these names, Shaedon Sharpe, isn't it? Mac McClung is going into the dunk contest. There are so many guys that it'll be fun to watch and see what they do in the next level. What about the Rising Stars game? The sophomores against the freshmen, the rookies against the second-year dudes. I've got 5 unicorns, 5 villains, 5 heartbreaks, and 5 draft busts. 5 draft busts. So when I talk about any of these lists, you guys, there's always that balance I'm trying to keep of, hey, I pay attention to what's going on in the NBA and what players are doing, how they're stepping up, what their performance is like on the court, and then also what their teams are doing, because sometimes you can have a player that's scoring 25 or 30 a game and nobody cares. Like nobody cares when it comes to sports cards and investing and that player's value long-term. We like to talk about when that connection happens. In fact, right now, basketball card investors, let's do like a status update, right now. Sometimes my Facebook, do you guys still do? I used to do Facebook, and I would get on there and it would say, how are you feeling? And then you post a status. I'm feeling optimistic that the basketball card market is going to not only stabilize, but go up in value and in excitement, in demand, in ways that make sense over these next 6 months. That's how I've positioned myself, and a lot of you guys have. But I've also positioned myself like, even if it doesn't, I've got cards and players that I enjoy having. So that's the beauty of being investor and collector. Like if cards go up and I've posted them to sell on eBay or whatever, like, great, that's awesome. If they don't, I think they eventually will. Right? Some of this is a long game, a patience game, but let me get into, I'll do 3 lists before the break, and then we'll do 4 lists after the break. So this is like bonus episode. That's like the 5 buys show that we do once in a while on steroids. If you look at some of our past episodes, you can go back and see, oh, he has a 5 buys series where we talk about 5 players on the rise, cards to watch out for. We've got a series called Basketball Cards 101 for those of you and those of us that need to be reminded of the basics, or those of you that are starting out in this world, this basketball card collecting world. So here are, let me start with this list. 5 can't miss players of the modern era. And when I say can't miss, I believe almost all of them, maybe 4 of these 5 names have MVPs already. And I think the other guy is probably going to get at least 1. So 5 can't miss players. These are guys that I would say, look, there's already some value, some price baked in when you think about these players' cards. These are Hall of Fame players. These are guys that our kids will be telling their kids about, and their kids will be telling their kids about in some different ways, how they've changed the game. And so here are the names. Maybe you could think of a 6th, or you'll be like, hey, how come you didn't mention Kawhi Leonard? Well, stay healthy, and even after that, I don't know that Kawhi Leonard would do the things over the course of his career that these five. So I've got LeBron James, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Nikola Jokic. Those are my five. I pick players that have had playoff success, that have had MVP type seasons, multiple all-star games, several that are older and nearing the end of their careers, if they'll ever end. LeBron James, what is he, 39? Like, dude, and he's performing at such an incredible level right now. I mean, they have needed a guy with AD out to step up and score 35 a game and 8-9 assists, 8-9 rebounds. LeBron's numbers for the last 10, 15 games have been out of this world, people. And some big milestones ahead of him. So LeBron, Steph, Giannis, Tatum, and Jokic, all five of those teams. If I told you that any of their teams would win this season's championship, you shouldn't be surprised. Like, Denver is on fire. They're number one in the West. Jason Tatum, although it would just be returning to the finals for him and having another MVP season and just stepping up his scoring and leadership, he is still crazy young. And that 2017 rookie class has several hidden gems. Not talking about the 96 insert, if you know what I mean. But Giannis and Steph, man, those are guys that will be remembered for a decade or two of basketball excellence. The Steph Curry market, when you talk about his rookie cards, those are expensive and they're hard to find in great condition. You will pay a lot more for a Steph Curry rookie, I believe, than you would for a Giannis rookie, which right now some of those are at a great deal. And I would say of all these teams, the Milwaukee Bucks look a bit, I mean, I know they just got Joe Ingles and I know they've got Bobby Portis. They're actually really, really good. And Chris Middleton, if he comes back healthy, that's a contender to make a very deep run and maybe win another championship. So those are five can't miss players. The challenge for me with investing in their cards would be with buying at the right time, buying the right card, and buying a card that I'm happy to keep long-term if I want, or if they win a championship, I can sell and buy it back later. So let me give you a, for instance, any of these players have nice, affordable rookie cards for different budgets. So like LeBron James, there's anything from the LeBron's Diary cards from 2004, LeBron's Bazooka, LeBron's just Topps base. Some of those can be graded, some of those not. But you can get a good LeBron rookie for $100 or less. No joke. And you could also get a good LeBron rookie for $100,000. Like, there's all kinds of levels. I've chosen to get in on just the Topps base graded cards, PSA 8, PSA 9, PSA 10. And I keep saying PSA, that just means they're graded, they're protected, they're preserved, they're beautiful cards, their condition's been affirmed, and they are more valuable. They are more sought after. So LeBron is a 2003 rookie card, Steph Curry, 2007. And those cards are harder to find. Some of those are 2008, but 2007, I believe, is the main Steph Curry rookie. And then Giannis, 2013, man. Oh, I wish I could have gone back in time and said, I'm just going to buy up all of the Prism Silver Giannis's I could find. And they were in huge supply back then because nobody knew who that kid was. Nobody knew. They were all excited about Victor Oladipo. He's not bad. But, they were excited about other players, and Giannis slid down. If you watch the movie Rise, we watched that over the holidays, Rise, about Giannis and his brothers. It's an awesome, awesome flick, Hartley. It's an awesome movie, so I definitely think Giannis and a 2013 rookie would be worth investing in. If you are a Giannis fan, it's just cool to have. I've bought several that were raw or ungraded and had them graded, and one of them turned out great and was a 9. And I was able to resell it and make some money. But there's still this idea of, look, if I can buy a card cheaper in the off season, think September, and sell it in the prime of a big season for Giannis, think May or think February. There's a rhythm there that we could get into, of buying and selling that might make you more money than just buying one card and holding it forever. Then there's the more recent dudes, Jason Tatum, 2017, Nikola Jokic, 2015. Jokic being a center, his market is not like volatile. It doesn't go up quickly. It's just he's a center, but he's a 3-time MVP who is well worth your consideration and your investment. I would just encourage you. Number one, I don't tell you what to do. Number two, I tell you to know yourself. Okay. Know what you like when it comes to basketball and cards and the hobby. Buy cards that you're going to like looking at and like having, right? If you don't like it, why would somebody else want to buy it from you? Right. So go for it. But I do think there is a premium on guys who are in that GOAT conversation, greatest of all time. And those 5 players, I feel you might want to add Luka Doncic. Okay. You might want to put Kawhi's resume up there somehow and talk about James Harden. And there's a lot of great players in the league. But I'm just saying those are 5 guys that I feel really good about long-term and would say they're can't miss as far as if you get a good entry point buying their cards, you won't regret it. Let me go to another list. Let's do the boy, some of these I want to talk about for a while. I'll do the way better than you realize list, and then I'll take a break. All right, way better than you realize. These are 5. Did I do 6? No, I did 5. 5 players that, they're just way better than you realize. I mean, if you don't watch them, you get NBA League Pass. You guys tune in and follow the game. A lot of sports card collectors and dealers, they just go on what's hot and what the buzz is about. So they just, ooh, LaMelo, ooh, Cade, ooh, Evan Mobley, but they don't know. The first guy on my list, way better than you realize, is Franz Wagner. I'm just saying, all around, great game, great player, young player on a team that desperately needs some building blocks for the future. Franz Wagner. I'll just rattle through the other names. Kyle Kuzma, dude, these are some names that could get moved by the trade deadline. Jamal Murray, back, healthy, big moments ahead for Jamal, 2016 rookie class. If you want a low-key buy on a Jamal Murray card, go after the raw optic hollows from 2016, or even just some of the other variations that Optic and Prism did of Jamal Murray. But the 2016 Optic Hollow, I think, is a gorgeous card. Jamal Murray. And then in that same year, Domantas Sabonis. He might be an all-star, you guys, in Sacramento. What a trade that worked out for both teams. Indiana gets Halliburton, and they're winning even without him. And then you've got Domantas Sabonis going to the Kings. People don't realize how good that guy is. Finally, and I've got the hiccup, so I got to get to a break here. Finally, I'm going to go with Jeremy Grant. Jay Jeezy, Bo Sheezy, Jeremy Grant in Portland. There's a team. In fact, there's several teams in the league right now, like Portland, Toronto, Houston. Man, they got so much talent, but they're not winning basketball games. Portland does when Damian Lillard takes over, but they just got to figure out how to get these parts all working together. And Jeremy Grant is one of those. Same rookie class, I believe, as the Joker 2015. Is it 2014? I think it's 2014. I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. Some of you guys listen to me and you're like, hey, dude, you're wrong about that. You messed up about that guy. You said Steph Curry's rookie was that year. Now it's this year. Say, I do want your feedback. Because I can admit when I'm wrong, people. Like, there are times, we just got to admit it, come clean, learn from your mistakes. You're not perfect, neither am I, right? But tell me, give me a shout out. Maybe you got an idea. Maybe you've got a take that you want to push back on something that I've said, or you've got a card like, hey, how can you mention all your sure things? And you didn't even say Joel Embiid. You didn't even say whoever it is you think I didn't even say. You Kevin Durant fans, I need to hear from you. So give me a message, give me a shout out at Hoops and Cards on Instagram, or Gary at hoopsandcards.com, whatever you want to do. Comment in the YouTube comment section. I don't care. I just love hearing from you, and it's great to interact from you. And let's do this. I will, man, you give me your take, especially you new listeners. You give me a take, say, hey, I would listen to the show. I heard your list of guys who were way better than you realize, but you forgot my man, whoever your man is, Alperen Şengün, right? Message me at Hoops and Cards, and I'll send you a free card. I went through all my collection this week, and there's some cards I'm just ready to give away, not because they suck, but because I'd love to just give you some cards, right? That's why I'm doing this. I'm here to add value to your world, our worlds as card collectors and investors. So at Hoops and Cards, Give me your take and I'll send you a card, especially new listeners. Let's go. And now it's time for the break.